All right, we'll call this meeting to order. Get Chris to sit down over there. He's always causing problems, always working. Look at him. All right. I'll collect our, Craig, you mind grabbing that sheet, this comment sheets? All right, our first item on our agenda is our opening prayer, and our Vice Mayor Adam Dixon will lead us in that.
Let us pray. Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you always for the wonderful blessings that you provide, and we thank you for this season, a season of joy. And we thank you, God, because as we understand joy, joy is not the same as happiness. And that no matter what state that we're in, low moments, high moments, rocky, smooth, no matter the condition, we still find a need to persevere. And we thank you that at a bleak moment in human history, joy came one evening. And we thank you, God, that throughout all seasons of our lives, that we can persevere, that we can triumph, that we can succeed despite adversity. And so we appreciate you for the sentiment and the emotion of joy. And so, God, we're very grateful to live in a community where we can still find common purpose, we can still help our sisters and our brothers, we can still work together for a greater good. And we're very appreciative for the community in which we live. God, we ask that on tonight that you continue to bless this board and our deliberations, that you continue to bless the servants that labor with the town of Jonesborough, and then bless our neighbors and our friends. God, we ask this all to your glory. In your name, Jesus, we pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Adam. Ruth, I think you got Brian Ponder, right?
Yes, that's right.
Now lead us in the pledge.
I will stand and face the flag. Repeat after me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, and liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Thank you, Brian. Thanks, Ruth. All right, Madam Recorder, roll call, please.
Mayor Best.
Here.
Alderman Causey.
Here.
Alderman Countermine.
Aye.
Alderman Dixon.
Here.
Alderman Wall.
Present.
All right, everybody's here. Good to see such a good crowd here tonight. We had Jimmy Ryan up here talking about some things. He talked about the success of the Polar Express movie that we had at the Jackson Theater, where the sellout, people were showing up in their pajamas. It made me think about, we had a meeting in there a couple of months ago that was a great one. So the next time the board has a meeting in the Jackson, we're all going to do pajamas too, okay? So people look forward to that.
We'll tell you
That's a rough image.
unless you do that.
That's a rough image.
And if you've never seen Kelly in his howdy doody PJs, you wait till this out.
That's right. That's right. How do you know?
All right, we'll get started on our consent agenda. I know there's one typo in there. Do we need to pull that out?
Just clarify.
Just clarify it's fine? Okay, the stipend for the street department director who's picking up some duties of the solid waste, it was in there of $1,000 per day, I think. It's per pay period. So that's in this, yes, I'm thinking, man, that is nice.
That's basically Craig, 2,000 a month, correct? 2,000 a month, is that correct?
Yes.
Most periods, yeah. The good news is we're interviewing, I think Virginia's part of that. We'll get one new solid waste director hired shortly, but yeah, make sure you make that note, Alderman. Other than that, has anybody got any thing they want to see pulled from the consent agenda?
Mayor, could I point one thing out? You also have on this consent agenda the retirement of K-9 Bond. And
Okay.
we asked his handler if he could bring him tonight. He's retiring due to age and some health issues. So,
Oh, wow.
we asked him to bring him tonight as well.
You mind bringing him forward? And tell us what it's been like to work with him all these years.
He's been great. I've had him for a little over 4 years. We started out together at Washington County, and we moved over here. He's been a great partner. He's a he's a drug dog, he's also a bite dog. He has actually had 4 or 5 apprehensions of biting suspects. One of his greatest accomplishments was there was an autistic kid that had went missing up in Gray, and we actually tracked him, which is unusual for these dogs because they're not like Canine Darrell we have. They don't go by scent, but he actually did. We sniffed some old clothes of his, and we tracked him for about 5 miles through the woods, over a mountain, and found him at a house at a party.
Wow.
5 miles away.
Wow.
But he's been a great dog. He's just getting old, having some health issues. And
Where's he gonna live?
with me.
Oh, wow, that's good.
My family and my, he's not been working for a little while, as you can tell, he's been putting on weight my wife. All sorts of stuff.
Well, we appreciate him for his service and yours as well.
Very much.
Wonderful.
Mayor?
Yeah.
One thing on that, there will need to be an agreement that we always do when we retire canines, so that'll come back to you all.
For him to assume ownership, yeah. Okay. All right, anything else in the consent agenda anybody wants to discuss or pull out? If not, I'll take a motion. Got a motion to approve the consent agenda by Vice Mayor Adam Dixon.
Second.
Second from Alderman Countermine. Any discussion? Call for the vote, please.
Alderman Causey.
Aye.
Alderman Countermine.
Aye.
Alderman Dixon.
Aye.
Alderman Wolf.
Aye.
All right, motion carried. Now we'll go into our financial report. And Kelly, I'll let you ask our recorder.
Madam Recorder, how are you this evening?
I'm great. How are you?
Just delightful, thank you. I read your financial report and it looks fine to me, but I figured it's best to get it straight from you. How are things going for the town of Jonesborough financially? And what are the state of affairs, please?
Well, we're putting out a big plea. Santa Claus needs to spend a lot of money in town. Sales tax collections are soft.
Huh.
For the first time, the year-to-date through September, sales were down almost 4%. And we have 3% growth, so everybody needs to spend.
Well,
So, spend here. You know, it does, that probably is the only thing that's causing me a little bit of concern, other than we have experienced some unexpected repairs and so forth across the town departments. So, you know, Mr. Ford might address that, but I know that, management's gonna put a plea out to the department heads to
you've got the ability to put the brakes on, right?
proceed with caution.
Yeah.
And everybody needs to spend, if I didn't say that.
Sales tax.
Yeah. I think we got
Locally.
that. I think a lot of the stuff that you saw with the sales tax was kind of across the economy in a lot of different sectors, and it was called the election.
Yes.
And whatever reason, rational or irrational, I think a lot of people put the brakes on during that time and then wait to see what happens before they
That's right.
spend money. So
Black Friday will be the telltale.
there you go. And I heard it was a good one. So that's, and we've seen so many great things going on downtown with lots of people. So hopefully that's indicative too. But overall, we're still in good shape.
Overall, we're in good
Okay.
shape. We're getting ready to, hopefully very soon put the final closing on that last Jackson Theater bond.
Wonderful.
And USDA's working with us on the water treatment bonds.
Yep,
So
saw all
you'll see
that.
that a little bit later. So
Yep.
we're still growing and progressing.
Wonderful. Thank you for the job you do. Thank you.
Well, thank you all.
Very much.
Thank you. I live in the sales tax world and have my almost entire career, and I will say the early part of this year was soft in retail, but there has been really a big change the last 5 weeks. And just in my world, I think you'll see that carry on. But we're going against record sales collections for the town of Jonesborough, and at some point that has to get tighter or softer. And but we do have some new places coming on. We're gonna have Wendy's coming on, a Starbucks coming on, a Zaxby's coming on. So all those things will, make our future even brighter. So very good.
I make a motion, Mayor, we approve the financial report, glowing as it is.
All right, motion to approve from Alderman Wolf,
Second.
second from Alderman Causey. Any other discussion? All right, call for the vote, please.
Alderman Causey.
Aye.
Alderman Countermine. Alderman Dixon.
Aye.
Alderman Wolf.
Aye.
All right, motion carried. Now we'll go into communications from myself, and I guess the first item on here is Leslie Dalton here with the United Way.
See her.
Okay. All right, well, next item will be our committee appointments. We're putting together, and we've talked about it before, part of the agreement with the county and building the new school was to put together a park and rec facilities advisory committee to kind of get a little joint working relationship between the county and the town, you know, dealing with facilities for parks and things. So we need to appoint our 3 members. The county will have 4. And I'm talking to Mr. Rosenoff and Jim. Alderman, you see before you to appoint Craig Ford, Chris Cadera, and myself to this Facilities Advisory Committee. If you would, I'll take a motion for that, or any questions?
Move to approve.
Second. A motion to approve from Alderman Countermine, a second from Alderman Wolf. Any discussion? All right, we got more things for Chris and Craig to do. All right, call for the vote, please.
Alderman Causey.
Aye.
Alderman Countermine.
Aye.
Alderman Dixon.
Aye.
Alderman Wolf.
Aye.
Very good. And Craig, Chris, appreciate you all serving. It's going to be a new day for the town and the county to work together on that, so we'll see how all this goes. And just a couple of quick comments. One, we had a wonderful, Christmas tree lighting down in Jonesborough. They're always great, but this one seemed to be the best one I can remember. It was really, really good. The downtown worked great. We had some new things scheduled, so Susan did a good job with her first tree lighting. So really appreciate all our staff does to make those such wonderful experiences. As we talked about earlier, just had a great response to the Polar Express fundraiser for the Chuckey Depot. It sold out there in the Jackson, so you had 250 to 300 people in there raising money for the Chuckey Depot, and that just shows you the potential that facility has to help our community. And we had some local sponsors. I think General Shell was one of our sponsors, and also Chad Hilton, who lives here in downtown Jonesborough, has Hilton HVAC, the best there is. He's one of the sponsors as well. So we appreciate them participating. And last night, sitting at home, my neighbor come running out of her house screaming, and I was like, "What in the heck is going on?" And my wife's like, "What's going on?" Somebody's screaming, and her water was off. And so she was asking me, "Is your all's water on?" And I didn't know. I hadn't checked it. So another neighbor, their water was off. Well, mine was off. I said, "Well, we've got a leak somewhere, So I immediately called Kevin Brobeck and said, "Hey, I think we've got a leak out here somewhere near my subdivision or at Boones Creek Road." And I'd say probably within 20 minutes he had a crew there that they're always on call. I mean, they were like that. And I don't think it was necessarily an easy thing, but it must have been a pretty big break. And but by the time we're in bed, it's fixed. And that type of response from our work crews is amazing, because it's cold outside, it's dark, and it's raining at that time when they're fixing it. And we're just fortunate to have people that do that kind of work, really are.
Yep.
So,
Yep.
give those guys a hand. Yeah, my next morning, the neighbor was like, "Oh, I've got water, I can shower now," so made her happy. And had Craig and Matt put some numbers together for me, and it's just kind of informal numbers, but traffic is a big issue here in Jonesborough, and I'm still waiting on to get the increase in the number of vehicles we've got traveling our roads. I'm sure it's pretty healthy, but one thing I always take offense to when people talk about, "Oh, Jonesborough's a speed trap. Oh, Jonesborough's a speed trap." Well, we've actually issued less citations this year versus in the past, almost 12% less, and I don't know if it's necessarily a great thing, because I think from conversations I've had with Matt, we've always talked about, if people are speeding or breaking the law, we need to issue them tickets. But there's also been some things that we've done to try to mitigate people having the ability or the need to speed. So to see citations down over 12%, just on our 2 major thoroughfares, the 11E Highway and Boones Creek Road, they're flat, which is good, because our other approach was not just our citations, but can we reduce the number of accidents on our roads, because it was getting kind of out of hand. And we've seen crashes in overall Jonesborough decrease about 12% as well. So citations down, accidents are down overall 12% in our roads. On those 2 major thoroughfares, down over 15%. So what we're doing on 11E and Boones Creek Road has reduced accidents, and who knows if you've saved lives or not. But I think on Boones Creek Road, the accidents are down close to 25%. And that road's going to do anything but get more and more traffic. So I think the board, we're ahead of the curve there. And yeah, people might not like slowing down, but when people were doing, when we had it at 45 and they were doing 60 and 65, you know, people respond now, say, oh, well, it should be at least 45. Well, it was 45, and you did 65. So it's 30 now, and if people stay under 40, you know, people have less accidents, and we're writing less citations overall everywhere. But we got to keep control of Boones Creek Road. But so overall success, I told Matt, it's great numbers. When you see citations down and accidents down, that's what we want to see. So appreciate that.
At one point, Mayor, this year, we'd had 43 accidents last year on Boones Creek Road in the 9/10 of a mile stretch that's in our city limits. At one point this year, we'd had 2.
Yeah.
I don't know where we're at now. Do you have any clue, Craig? Okay.
No, sir.
You're supposed to know that, I'm telling you.
You're well under the 40.
Yeah, you're well under the 43.
Well, no, I think we're right about 29, if I'm not mistaken, from what was
Is it
sent to me, 29.
Back up to that?
For the whole year.
Oh, for the whole town?
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
All right, that's all I've got. Next thing I've got is Employee of the Month. And we've got Miss Nicole Widener out here.
Sorry.
You might have known why you was out there, didn't you? Or did you think you were here to sing Christmas carols with the JRT crew?
I don't
You don't do that? Oh, okay. All right. I'll let you
Come on,
know this.
Random.
I'm gonna read what it said about you, and I'm sure it's, won't become a surprise to you. It says, I nominate Nicole Widener as December Employee of the Month. Nicole has been employed with the town for almost 2 years. With 10 years in working at a utility, she has proven time and time again that she has excellent skills in communication, leadership, and integrity throughout her short time at Jonesborough. Nicole has effectively completed the installation and maintenance of a new filing system for cross connection, tap and flushing lines, and much, much more. She was quickly promoted to cross connection specialist. She has completed and holds her backflow prevention certification and is qualified to test and evaluate backflow preventers. She was instrumental in the ARM system, which is our automated meter readers, to start up as well as initiating our in-house programming of our digital meters. She works with multiple departments on a daily basis and has a wonderful working relationship with all. She has offered innovative solutions and ideas, proposals to the interdepartment challenges. She does not hesitate to perform any task asked of her. Her work with our setup to digitize files and reduce paper waste has helped to provide a more organized workplace. That's very good. She arrives early to set up and prepare for the day's assignments for her fellow coworkers to ensure all the computer systems are operating properly. Her attention to detail and manners allow her to communicate with our customers and staff clearly. She volunteers to work outside of her normal operating hours in any way needed. It's for these reasons I nominate Nicole Widener for December Employee of the Month, and that's R.D. White.
Woohoo!
I'm just happy to be here. I love Jonesborough and I love working here.
We're glad to have you here for the 2 years. Let's let Mr. Tom take these pictures.
I can't get away from it.
Thank you. Okay. Thank you.
Get Tom to do closer shots.
All right, that's all I've got. Next item on our agenda is citizens' comments. And I had a couple of people sign up for that. Brian Ponder, just give us your address for the records.
Mr. Ford, would you help me just a second? I hand these out to the gentleman. I'm Brian Ponder. My wife and I reside at 214 East Main Street. We are the proprietors of Venue on Main at 122 East Main. 4 children, 2 of which here live in Jonesborough. Started Ponder Auto Repair in 1982, but now over 43 years. Bob Browning came to me one day and asked me to help restart the Jonesborough Repertoire Theater in 1988. we both share the philosophy of failure is not an option. And with that, I presided over the JRT for 12 years. I was a sound and light technician, head technician for Freedom Hall Civic Center from 75 to 1990, in which I was involved in 350 productions there. My wife and I rehabbed 20 homes, different commercials and homes, Cincinnati, Indianapolis, historic Charleston, 5 of those of which are here in historic Jonesborough. Currently, I serve on the board of dwelling standards outside the historic district in town of Jonesborough. My reason for being here today is hope that we can get together. I'm going to ad-lib some of this that I've given you just for the sake of time. To be able to get all these boards to come together and have a round table discussion where the right hand and left hand can talk better with each other. Because some of the things that are going on in town, other people don't know about. Like I came downtown last week and the Main Street was closed. I haven't been informed, and I don't know if there's something we need to do. Those are the kind of things we need to discuss where everybody knows it's going to be closed. And not that it wasn't anything wrong, I just didn't, if I had a function, and I had people coming that are handicapped there was a problem with me getting there. But that wasn't the case that time. But I want everybody to work together to try to resolve this to where we have 99% of the conflicts taken care of before anything becomes a problem. And an example, in my opinion, I feel like the Board of Historic Zoning may have lost their way on personal preferences or conveyed more than sticking with the purpose of the stated duties. Liberties admittedly by them have been allowed for certain situations, mainly the sign ordinance. A board member told me it was okay for the town building to skate by on the rules, but private businesses not so much. What kind of country we living in where rules for thee are not for me? I witnessed this at the historic board meeting on November 11th. I brought up my action item, and when I presented the changes asked of me by 2 board members who from the previous meeting discussed, the room was silent. Conveniently, the 2 board members that suggested the changes, which I did as asked, were not in attendance at the meeting. This caused me to feel that some of the board members had already discussed this issue and decided my fate without an open public discussion. This reaction also raised my suspicion that prior conversation may have been violated the Sunshine Law. I'm also concerned about the father-son team with the Historic Zoning Board. Nepotism does not need to play a part in our small community. It calls into question the neutrality and the ability for each board member to have an open mind. This should never have been allowed. I had discussed with some board members in past years and present about not feeling comfortable giving their own opinions on certain items of discussion. The town is growing, things are changing, and we need to adjust to change as needed. Stifling progress is not what the town needs to be about. Case in point, we don't have exposed wires or utility poles all over downtown. We don't have trash cans everywhere like we used to. We don't have outhouses anymore. But progress is what changed it. LED lighting technology has revolutionized energy efficiency, a major element in today's society. So we don't need to back up and not allow it. The Jackson Theater opened recently and has 95% LED lighting. It's a great look. They also use uplighting on the building, and I love it. It makes it look good. Let's embrace these changes. The board's complaint with the venue is that a fixture called a gobo. It's an instrument that can be used for various things and can be changed out in a matter of minutes to have flexibility purposes. This type of light is not covered in their current sign, advertising, and lighting guidelines. And I want to take advantage of this technology, and indeed I intend on using it. And I'm also offering to the town the use of this, if they'd like to use it. The side of our building is unique. It's a perfect welcome for people coming into town. Right now, as it stands, if there is a disagreement with the board, the only avenue to hire a lawyer and go to court and call out these liberties the board has allowed to be taken. And that is not what the consent has stated, of their guidelines.
Got 20 seconds, Brian.
Okay, thank you. This is the last thing we had to happen, but I don't want to do that. I'm asking the Board of Merit Aldermen to do a hand check of the Historic Zoning Board to just kind of check and see where they're at. So I propose a committee to be formed of various different demographics representing how discussions on the town of Jonesborough, how everything can get along together. I'll have suggestions, a few people that you might consider bringing together to discuss such a plan as a jumping off point. This is only a quick list, just a few people that come to my mind. And it's my hope and desire that we do this together and move Jonesborough into the light. Our goal is for the improvement of the town for the future of the generation to come. Thank you for your time.
Thanks, Brian. Appreciate you. Ashley Cavender. Just give us your address. I think that's a new home for you, I think, isn't it?
Yes. So good evening. My name is Ashley Cavender, and I live on 216 Spring Street. As a homeowner, an active member and leader of this community, and the board chair of Keep Jonesborough Beautiful, I care deeply about the Nola-Chucky watershed and the well-being of our people and wildlife. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak today. I'm here to raise awareness about the railroad reconstruction in the Nola-Chucky Gorge and its potential impact on downstream communities. As we saw with Hurricane Helene, events that happen upstream can have serious consequences downstream. The work being done now could significantly affect flood risks, water quality, and the cost of drinking water for those who rely on the Nola-Chucky River. After the flood, CSX began emergency reconstruction right away, but the first site visit from regulatory agencies didn't happen until 6 weeks later. The contractor, ZNA Construction, has been working below the ordinary high water mark, which is illegal and damaging to the waterway, endangered species, and the habitats that they rely on. This kind of activity could increase flooding risks and harm local businesses that depend on the river for tourism, fishing, and other activities. Thankfully, TDEC and the Army Corps of Engineers have intervened, ordering CSX to stop mining materials below the high water mark and issuing corrective measures. We must remember why these laws exist: to protect our public health, wildlife, and clean water. We can have a well-built railroad and a healthy river system if we follow the regulations and approach this rebuild responsibly. Continued monitoring of the work is essential to prevent further harm. We also need our elected officials to ask the right questions about the methods being used in the rebuild and its ecological and economic impact. It's crucial that we continue to ensure proper government oversight and inspections during this process. In the future, we also look forward to collaborating with the railroad contractors on ways to repair any damage done during construction and restore the river for benefit of everyone. I understand how difficult this recovery period has been for all of us, and I want to thank our local leaders for their tireless efforts in helping our community rebuild. As our elected officials, these are the questions we are asking you and urge you to ask the regulatory bodies too. I have these outlined in your packet for future reference as well that I'll give you when I'm finished. Number one, how will this work affect the risk of future high water and flooding events? Number two, does this work increase the flood risk to downstream communities? Number three, how will this work affect water quality for downstream communities that use the Nola-Chucky for irrigation and municipal drinking water? Number four, will this increase the costs associated with drinking water preparation for public consumption? As we move forward, we must always keep in mind that protecting the Nola-Chucky watershed is vital to the future of our people, our environment, and Jonesborough's way of life. Thank you for your time.
Yeah, thank you, Ashley. All right, thank you all.
Thank you, Ashley.
That's good. All right, our next item will be Alderman Communications. Alderman, anything you want to share with the town?
Thank you, sir.
Good. Terry?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Kelly?
How about you?
I would like to say that Lincoln Park, the lighting of the trees up there was beautiful.
Yeah, yeah.
And the opening of the Jackson was amazing. Any of you that saw the 30-minute clip?
Yep.
That sort of featured me and my husband with our first date there was really, really heart-wrenching. The staff at the McKinney Center and the Jackson Theater Visitor Center, they all did a great job on putting all that together. And if you haven't seen it, just see me. I can provide it for you.
You got the link. It was wonderful, Virginia. It was very heartfelt. And it was a night to remember. You know, it's not every day the governor shows up in the town. But it was for a movie, well, for a lot more than a movie, but for a lot of stuff going on. So it was really cool. A night for the history books. I'll just say that. It was very, very good. Mayor, I've got a couple of things, if that's
Yes, sir.
okay.
Yes, sir.
One was, were you done?
I'm done.
I thought you were. You sounded done. Came to my attention that the folks down on the lower end of the county affected by the flood, we've got an issue that has come up, Mr. Brobeck, correct me if I'm wrong, but we've got a lot of line rebuilds being done. We've had a lot that have been done. And you've got not only restoring water going on for people who've lost water, and that's pretty much all finished now, But you've got folks who previously had wells who are not comfortable with the well anymore, either for whatever reason, whether it's their electrical service or the possible contamination, all manner of things. And this is an extraordinary circumstance, and I think it has been brought up that, in particular, one person on A.J. Willis is wanting to connect to the town water system. We've had a complete rebuild of what's left of A.J. Willis at this point, and I'm sure are we gonna connect both ends back before we get done? Yes, sir. Okay, so we will have a complete, when they get done rebuilding the road, which was completely gone, we'll have a complete line rebuild. Since we're doing so much work down there, when you do a line extension, you're able to buy a meter. Instead of the normal cost of $2,000, you're able to buy one for $1,500. And there's been a request, I believe, is it one person, Kevin, at this point?
It was, right, someone through another person, but yes.
I got you.
That's just one right now.
Well, so I would, on behalf of helping those folks in this flood-ravaged community, ask that we extend, if anybody wants to, not just one person, but if anybody wants to become a customer of our water system in light of all the work we're doing down there, $3 million worth, if you want to put a figure to it, allow them to buy their tap at the cost that would have been given an allowance for had they done a line extension. And so I think on behalf of, did I get all that right, Kevin? Okay, on behalf of us as a board, that is a humanitarian gesture. So it doesn't seem like a lot of money, but if you've lost everything you got, it matters. I think that we ought to consider putting that on the agenda tonight and create an exemption one time for Helene-related rebuilding to allow folks to buy taps at the contributed cost of $1,500 instead of $2,000 in that area. So I would make a motion, Mayor, at this point that we allow an exemption in our water line extension policy related to Hurricane Helene, and allow a one-time opportunity for folks due to this storm to purchase meters in the affected area for $1,500 instead of $2,000.
Okay. You got anything else, then we'll add that to the agenda.
I make a motion that we add that to the agenda.
Okay.
Yeah.
Second.
Got a motion to add that to the agenda. We had a second by Alderman Causey. Let's call for the vote, please.
Yep.
Alderman Causey.
Aye.
Alderman Kellerman.
Aye.
Alderman Dixon.
Aye.
Alderman Moore.
Aye.
All right,
Thank
now
you.
we can discuss some more. Glenn, you got something to say?
I just want to add one point. It's liking the same thing that we're doing with the water line extensions, what we're calling the county water line extensions.
Right.
So we're basically extending that discount that is already in place.
That's right.
For the impacted flood areas.
I've got one comment when I read that, and I love it, Kelly. But I wonder if this situation is somewhat a little different than just the people requesting an extension where we're applying new lines.
It
If we
is.
couldn't go, instead of 1,500, make it 1,000, because these are people that have no other option other than possibly to connect to us, because some of that land has been, contaminated to the point where they probably wouldn't ever want a well.
The only thing you'd have to look at is, does that cover the cost of the tap meter and everything, Kevin? Does that still cover it? Because I know those costs have gone up too.
Yes, sir. I believe we could do 1,000. And, I mean, for the affected area, I mean, those people have lost everything. I think we need to, I think it'd be the least we could do.
Okay.
More the better. And how many houses would possibly be impacted down there? Was it like 37 or something?
Possibly, but, I mean, as far as on well, you're not gonna have that many anyway, maybe 10.
So,
Once
yeah.
they get the road built back, they can get in and actually start rebuilding some of the houses that's destroyed or gone. I mean, they may be 10 wells.
Well, I think with the position they're in, if we can do more than that, that's
That
good.
sounds very good. I'll make a motion that we modify our line extension policy to allow a one-time exception for Hurricane Helene folks who've had wells to get a tap with the town for $1,000 then.
Very good, Kelly. You got a motion spoken by Kelly. Got a second?
I'll second.
Second by Alderman Dixon. Any discussion on that? Jim?
Mayor, you might want to put a time period on that, even if it's through the end of the fiscal year, but something so that there is some time period the policy was in effect.
Let's just say for the next year's time. How's that?
Next year?
Yeah, next year this time, please. Is that okay with you, Adam?
Perfect. All right, you hear it proposed. Call for the vote, please.
Alderman Causey.
Aye.
Alderman Countermall.
Aye.
Alderman Dixon.
Aye.
Alderman Woods.
Very
Aye.
good.
Thank you all for that, and
Thank
thank you, Kevin and Glenn, very much for.
Thank you.
You got anything else, Kelly?
Yeah, I got a couple more things.
Okay.
Do we have an idea yet, Glenn, when we're gonna look for our, meeting regarding kind of our departmental organization,
Yeah, so,
chart?
I've drafted everything up till today, so I would probably say if through this week I'd be done, so if we wanted to do it next week or the week after, it's ready.
I'd love to get it done before Christmas.
That's fine.
Yeah, just from a standpoint of, we've been talking about it for a long time.
Yeah.
and Just getting it done.
Yeah, I'm ready
Yep.
to go forward.
Okay. Well, just please, let's do that.
Throw out some dates, Glenn, and we'll
Okay.
discuss it
Yeah.
as a board.
Yeah. Made a comment earlier during the charter meeting, but Melinda's Made Around Here market, a couple thousand people. Incredible. Thank you for our public safety guys supporting that. I saw them blocking the road and enforcing it with a car sitting there the night before. So that's the way to do it. And of course, our sanitation folks and street department back that up. But that's a great example of a private individual making a huge difference in the town of Jonesborough. And I think Melinda's to be applauded for that. And I think it was a wildly successful event, according to what I heard when I went and picked up my Scout that was out front. And Amber, tonight, there's an item on here about the Cultural Arts Director position. Amber Crumley, I think, is uniquely qualified for that role for the town. Proud to be involved in kind of this issue behind the scenes. And so, Ann Pope, the director of the Tennessee Arts Commission, was with us when we opened the Jackson, and came away wildly impressed with what we had going on. And she was there on the Thursday night there when the governor came, and she is going to hopefully enable us to have some programming and state support money coming very quickly as part of this. And normally there's a long time period that you would have to wait before you became eligible for this funding. And so, thanks to Ann, our local Arts Commissioner, Nancy Dishner, and lots of other folks doing a great job. I think you're going to see some really, really strong state support here coming very soon. So that's the reason behind this tonight, and I think we could appoint no better person than Amber to that. The other thing, the website for the Jackson is just about up. They've got it live. They're debugging. It's been a little bit of a slow go. There's been some pushing going on to help get it across the finish line, but it's just about there. And you won't have to hunt for the website to get the tickets anymore after that, but it's just about ready to be linked up to Google and go on. So keep looking for it, and go on and visit often. And the ticket sales so far for the movies that we've had for the Christmas Festival have been awesome. As we heard from about the Polar Express, it's been great. I think the sing-along for White Christmas is sold out, or very close to being sold out as well. So all kinds of great things going on so far. So keep supporting what's going on. We're in our infancy, but if this is any indication, it's just going to get better and better. That's all I have.
Thank you, Kelly.
Absolutely.
Mayor,
Yes,
may
sir.
I add something? As Alderman Wolf was talking, there is an agenda item that was supposed to be on here for new business that I just looked it over, that has to do with the Jackson Theater, of contracting some marketing help. And
Would we want to go ahead and, have we,
if you can go through, if you give me about 2 minutes, I can print it all off.
That'd be
It's already
perfect.
Okay,
ready.
go ahead. All right. Well, our next item will be town attorney comments. And Jim, you got anything for us?
No report this evening, Mayor. I'd be glad to answer any questions that the board have.
No, I think it was good to get our one, I guess that case dismissed, they had against the town, so that was good. That one issue of someone on our sidewalks, where's that at? I think the insurer's taking care of that case. We had a, what a.
There is
split
one pending case in the insurance pool, handling that. So it's just in the normal process, but it may take a year.
Okay, very good. All right, we don't have any old business tonight. We'll just continue on. We can add what Glenn's going to bring up when we get in here. So we'll just, first item, discussion and possible action concerning approval of a resolution for setting the 2025 BMA meeting dates. And that's just planning out our year next year. Alderman, if you got any conflicts as you see there, it's normally supposed to be the second Monday of every month, 7 o'clock. Anybody got any conflicts now they see before you?
I do March 10th, I won't be.
March 10th. All right. Let's see, anybody in favor of moving that back 1 week to make that the 3rd or the 1st, I guess? We can do the 1st or 3rd Monday of March. Any preferences there?
Let's do the 17th if we could.
17th?
St. Patrick's Day, we can all wear green.
We need to make sure we have more countermine at all times, so.
17th.
17.
And Terry's gonna wear green.
That's right.
So we got March 17.
We'll sing
Donna
Irish
asked
Eyes
you
Are
to
Smiling.
17th, Chuck.
That's right, 7 o'clock. I'm gonna go back and listen to the tape. She probably cut me off when I said 6, and she didn't get the 30. All right, anything else there, Terry?
That's good. Thank
Adam,
you.
anything with you?
Thank you very much.
I wish I planned out 12 months, but I don't, but I
Yeah,
usually
I
know
know.
a couple weeks before.
It's impressive, Terry, that you got to March, I'll just
Yep,
say that.
yep.
That's when my grandkids have spring break.
Okay, that's easier.
And we go
Yeah.
somewhere.
Virginia, what about you? Anything? you see? Okay. All right, we could,
I'll second that.
we got a motion to approve from Alderman Dixon, a second from Alderman Wolf, and the one change is March 17th. Instead of the 10th.
March 10th, yeah.
All right, call for the vote, please.
Alderman Clausen.
Aye.
Alderman Cameron.
Aye.
Alderman Dixon.
Aye.
Alderman Wolf.
Aye.
Motion carried. Our next item is discussion and possible action concerning approval of a resolution for the American Rescue Plan Act funding. And that looks more like a formality in here. And Alderman, I think you can see before us, just approve this resolution. Anybody got any questions? If not, I'll take a motion.
So moved.
Motion to approve from Alderman Wolf.
Second?
Second from Alderman Countermine. Any other discussion? Call for the vote, please.
Alderman Clausen.
Aye.
Alderman Cameron.
Aye.
Alderman Dixon.
Aye.
Alderman Wolf.
Aye.
That motion carried. Now we'll get down to discussion and possible action concerning approval of the 2024-25 barn land lease for 12 acres of town property at Arnold Road. And that's something we've done forever. Got some land down there. We got a,
Decades.
yeah, we got a guy that'll take care of it for us and grows us some pumpkins to give us.
As long as the creek doesn't get too high.
Yep.
In this case, the river.
So you can see it's pretty standard there. It's a lease payment of $500.
It ain't right.
Yes, Jim?
Mayor, I had a conversation with Mr. Rosenoff, and we'd like to ask you all to, if you approve this, to approve it with subject to him adding a provision. We used to have a provision in this lease, and it's disappeared at some point. The staff has removed it, but that limited what the use of those products that are raised could be because of the fact that the sludge is spread on that property. That's a protection for the town, so we're going to make sure that's added back in with your approval.
We used to get fodder shock too, didn't we?
He started paying the 500
Did he?
in lieu
Oh,
of.
so he's not
pumpkins
growing it
and-
on
no,
there.
it's
Okay.
not growing it.
Do you want to
Not
add the
running.
provision to what limit, what?
Well, we'll work the wording out,
Okay.
but essentially it's to limit what the use of any products raised on that property. They
Okay,
can't be for human consumption.
okay.
But we'll get the language that we had before back into that. He's actually only, I think, raising hay right now, so there's not an issue, but I think we need to put that back. I think that's probably why it was taken out.
Yeah.
But it doesn't, it still
So it
needs to be in.
Okay. All right, Alderman, you see the recommendation, and with the addition of adding that provision that Jim spoke, that was in there before.
I'll make a motion with the additional language as specified by Mr. Wheeler.
Motion from Alderman Wolf,
I'll second that.
second from Alderman Dixon. Any discussion? Call for the vote, please.
Alderman Causey.
Ah.
Alderman Calhoun.
Aye.
Alderman Dixon.
Aye.
Alderman Wolf.
Aye.
All right, motion carried.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
All right, we're gonna do D here, and then we'll kind of read through this memo and background that again brought out, but since Kelly touched on this here on D, discussion and possible action concerning approval of the establishment of a cultural arts office, cultural arts director position description, and appointment of a cultural arts director, which I think is Amber, who was wonderful. Alderman, you got any comments or questions about that? Jim, can that all three be taken together?
Those can all three be.
Okay. Alderman, you see that recommendation before you on item 7D?
Make a motion we approve as presented, Mayor.
Motion approved from Alderman Wolf,
And grateful for Mr. Browning for his work on this.
Second.
and a second from Alderman Countermine. Any discussion? All right, call for the vote, please.
Alderman Causey.
Ah.
Alderman Calhoun.
Aye.
Alderman Dixon.
Aye.
Alderman Wolf.
Aye. We're going to add this other thing.
Yeah, let's add this new item.
I make a motion, Mayor, that we add a marketing and social media support position for the Jackson Theater to the agenda.
All right, Alderman, you hear the motion to make this addition to the agenda. You get a second?
Second.
Got a second from Alderman Countermine. Any discussion? Call for the vote, Madam Recorder.
Alderman Causey.
Ah.
Alderman Calhoun.
Aye.
Alderman Dixon.
Aye.
Alderman Wolf.
Aye.
All right.
And Mayor, this comes from work that Amber has done, inadvertently left off the agenda. We have a balance and actual activity code. Look at that, account code, where the money would come from in the pre-approved Jackson budget. And this, Ms. Sanders, Glenn, do you want to speak to this?
Sure. Apologies, the entire thing was done, but not part of the agenda. So, Amber Crumley's been, reviewing the operations and just looking at areas that need specialized attention, and that was basically in the support services of marketing and social media. And so in our travels of actually doing some interviews for assistant operations, and Lori was selected, Lori Powell. But in that meantime, we got to know Jessica Sanders, and she's well known from others as far as offering contracted services for this type of specialized field. And looking at least through the end of the fiscal year, we're looking at the need for the Jackson to have this type of use and need. And yes, I provided account code, and the only thing I didn't use on the December 5th was the time and date, or the time that I actually got the report. But in all seriousness, it's an area identified by our team, trying to accommodate it. The Jackson board had also met and discussed it, and definitely the right person at the right time to be helpful to the town staff, and obviously the positive momentum of the Jackson. So.
And if any of you have seen the Johnson City train experience, fantastically done. And a lot of their social media, a lot of their web work has been done by this gal. And she does a really, really, really good job. We're running into, and it's real, when you have a festival every weekend or every other weekend, when you've got just an entire universe of things going on in a town like Jonesborough, whether it's the McKinney Center or the Senior Center or, any number of things, our staff at the Visitor Center is speak for anybody here, Mitchell, pretty busy. Sometimes even maxed out, you would say. And so to do this, what we're doing right at the Jackson, this is, at this point, the most efficient and predictable and reliable way to get it done. And so it's not that anything's wrong, it's that we've got a big investment here, and we've got a lot on the line, and we need somebody dedicated to the Jackson to be able to do it right. So that's the reason. And then, you know, there'll be a good assessment when we get to the end of our fiscal year as to, you know, where we are, how we've ended up, and how our resources are deployed. I know as a member of the Jackson Board, I can speak to the fact that we're committed to do everything we can to make the whole shebang successful. And that includes doing a lot of fundraising to help make sure the shows have a really, really good chance to be profitable. And that is everything that goes on there, not just movies, not just musical performances. So part of being successful, though, is having the proper promotion. And if you look at this number, this is far below what you would have if you had an employee hired, benefit package, retirement, healthcare, all that good stuff. So I think it's really a bargain for what we're going to be doing.
I was gonna say, it's very surgical as far as
Yep.
what she would be doing, from social media to events to photography to marketing, helping newsletter, paid advertising, branding, consistency,
Yep.
things like that.
Yep.
So they're very specific tasks to perform.
Yep.
The rest of the year is fiscal.
Yeah, yes, through FY, so we're already, working with Amber and the team, we're already looking ahead at FY '26 of what possible needs. Is this another type of position of a part-time? Is it contractual services? So as we go month to month, we'll know before the end of the fiscal year how
Yep.
we're doing.
It's probably is more advantage to be a contract employee and, you know, $2,500 a month is what we're talking about, and that's really
Yep.
reasonable to get
Yep.
the professional results. Only thing I can ask, and Kelly addressed, is just make sure on anybody we hire like this that we measure the effectiveness of it.
Yep.
It sounds like this lady definitely has the experience and the expertise to do it, but let's
She's
just
got it.
measure it, because we want the
She's got
results.
it. And I'll tell you, I think Amber's a great manager and is so versatile in what she's doing thus far in terms of the number of things she's effective with. I think that if it's not working, she'd probably be the first to say it.
Well, I like it. Did you make a proposal for it? Motion?
I'll make a motion, we approve as presented in the write-up that was supposed to be on the agenda.
All right, we got a motion to approve from Alderman Wolf,
Second.
second from Alderman Countermine. Any other discussion? All right, call for the vote, please.
Alderman Paul, Alderman Counterman,
Aye.
Alderman Dixon.
Aye.
Alderman Moore.
Aye?
All right, motion carried. Now, our last item is probably one of the most important things that the town of Jonesborough will be doing the next 3 or 4 years. Actually, every month going forward, I would say now. It's a discussion and possible action concerning approval of 3 resolutions for USDA loan funding for the new water treatment plant upgrade project. So, Alderman, you can see those loans in front of you, but this is gonna be a big endeavor for the town of Jonesborough. We gotta have it, we're growing, and our water treatment plant is how old, Kelly? It's old?
50.
Yep. It's older than, more than Terry's been on the board here. So I think they built it when Terry first got elected, so it's due, it needs to be replaced to keep up. And this is another
Well,
step in that direction.
I'll just say this. We have a serious commitment to the health and welfare of the people of Washington County by running a water system that reaches into 75% of Washington County, rural Washington County. Johnson City, of course, has their water system, but ours touches 75% of the area of this county. And we're supplying water to people in Chuckey. We supply water to people for cattle. We supply water for, obviously, citizens of the town of Jonesborough. But, you know, local fire protection depends on what we do. And that's even with volunteer fire departments out in the county. So there is a health and safety component to us maintaining a fully efficient and effective water system. We're thankful for that guy sitting right back there, Kevin Brobeck. If there's been anybody that's been put to the test in a role, it's been you. You've performed exemplary. Thank you for that. But we've got a bigger challenge. We've got a plant that'll pump about 2.7 million gallons a day. That's about it. And we run it as hard as it'll run. And we need a plant that pumps double that to be safe. And that's what we're talking about building.
Beyond double, I think what we're gonna
Yeah,
do.
that's right. And so we'll have an actual transmission line coming to our big tank that will be able to securely deliver enough water to take care of anything we've got. When you had the big freeze a couple of years ago, our system was in dire straits. The way other systems around us dealt with that was they could pump more water than we could. They were bleeding out just like we were with frozen lines and leaks, but they could pump enough to where they didn't get in the shape we were in. We couldn't pump enough water. So a water plant, a modern water plant, not something from the 1970s, is what we need. And we're going to be able to reuse our intake. We'll be good stewards of funds and reuse things that can be reused. But in terms of technology, computer systems, monitoring, you name it, we are woefully behind. And we've got the opportunity, thanks to the leadership of our town staff, Glenn and Craig and Kevin, that we are in a position to put this thing together at a very good interest rate. And I don't remember the rate off the top of my head, but I think it's 3.2, something like 3.5, one of the two.
It's in the ish.
Okay, it's around that area. Go find that rate somewhere else, is all I'm gonna say. So it's a great opportunity for us to have a long-term solution to our needs and the growth, quite honestly, of not just the town, but of all of Washington County. So it's a big deal, and it's a stewardship thing for us to take this on. And so I think of all the things we do, there's some that are very, very, very important. And so we add those extra couple of varies in this one. This is worth doing.
It's always fun to talk about the Jackson Theater and all of our events and things that we do, but when it comes down to it, probably the most important thing we do is supply water, to so many of our residents and really out into the county. As Kelly said, it's, 13,000 plus and growing. It's probably 14,000 or more now. And it's not gonna do anything but continue to grow. And it always pained me when we had the freeze that Kelly spoke about, and we had an issue here this past December, where we had to, shut down the plant for a brief moment, and, but having a reliable, supply of water that we don't run into issues with, and that's resilient, that can handle what Mother Nature throws at it, that's gonna be really important, and it's gonna outlive all of us, so it's, making that investment now is gonna pay off for the next 50, 60 years.
Be
So.
the cheapest money you ever spend. 20 years from now, it'll look like a bargain.
And one thing I like to do, we certainly produce good water, we meet all the state guidelines, but, as we endeavor into this, what can we do to make our water even better than what the state demands? Is there something we can do in the processes to make our water even cleaner? That's,
We'll
better
have
for the
that
public.
technology here.
Yeah, so all that's gonna be important.
Yep.
All right, Alderman, any other comments, or somebody wants to make a motion?
Move to approve.
Motion to approve from Alderman
You have to do
Countermine,
them separate.
got a second from Alderman Causey.
No, I said separate.
Separate.
Oh, separate, okay. All right. Loan 32, is that what you want us to take separate?
Yes, sir.
Okay, we're talking about loan 32, got a motion to approve from Alderman Countermine,
Okay, second.
second from Alderman Causey. She likes to make motions when we're spending big money. All right, any comments on loan number 32? If not, call for the vote, please.
Alderman Causey.
Aye.
Alderman Countermine.
Aye.
Alderman Dixon.
That's a-
Alderman Wall.
All right?
That's a $7 million loan. All right, now we'll go to loan 33. Get a motion for that.
Move to approve, Mayor. I'll second it.
Got a motion to approve from Alderman Dixon, a second from Alderman Wolf. Any discussion? Call for the vote, please.
Alderman Causey.
Aye.
Alderman Countermine.
Aye.
Alderman Dixon.
Aye.
Alderman Wall.
All right.
Motion carried, and last one, loan number 30. Alderman, any comments or questions? If not, I'll take a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve as presented, Mayor.
Got a motion to approve from Alderman Wolf.
I'll second.
Got a second from Alderman Dixon. Any discussion? Call for the vote, please.
Alderman Causey.
Aye.
Alderman Countermine.
Aye.
Alderman Dixon.
Aye.
Alderman Wolf.
Aye.
Motion carried, and we just funded a new water plant. Very good.
Exciting.
And it's
Very
not,
exciting.
we just didn't start tonight, though. This whole thing started probably 2 or 3 years ago with replacing the meters. So it's been a, things we've rolled out in phases, so.
Yep.
It's the biggest part of it right here, though. Thank you, Alderman. That's all we got. Meeting adjourned.
All right.